Hey everyone, it's Ivan, kitbadger.com. I'm up here with
David Stark from Discreet Ballistics.
If you're unfamiliar, Discreet Ballistics makes some really amazing subsonic loads, whether it's 300 Blackout, 308, or some of their other offerings. And he's been kind enough to show me the process, so we're going to take a look at it.
I started Discreet Ballistics back in 2016 as a result of a gap that I saw in really high-end subsonic ammunition, specifically for 300 Blackout and 308. There are plenty of companies that were making it, but a lot of them were just chasing the bottom and trying to get as much of it out the door as possible. We really focus on dialing in our loads to make them as consistent as possible. So at Discreet Ballistics, we have a number of different processes that we use to make the most consistent subsonic ammunition available. Really, that starts with a battery of tests. We have uppers of all different lengths and twist rates. We have a bunch of different powders to test with. We have a bunch of different projectiles. And what's really great is we have our own range, so we're able to really have a quick development cycle where we create something and we're able to test it very quickly and either scrap it or make adjustments if it shows promise. 122-1.
One of the things I think is really cool is when I look at your ammo, you specifically have different ammo for different barrel lengths. How did that come about?
So when I was first starting to test commercial subsonic ammunition, I was running it through a number of different uppers, and I ran it through a couple of 16-inch uppers, and a lot of the commercial subsonic ammunition is really designed to stay subsonic out of short, 8 to 9 inch barrels. But when you add that extra 8 or 9 inches, it's oftentimes sends them supersonic. The last thing you want when you spend extra money for subsonic ammunition is for it to go supersonic.
Absolutely.
Part of what makes Discreet Ballistics a leader in subsonic ammunition and development is our ability to maintain really consistent manufacturing processes. Every round is hand inspected. There's human interaction with the loading process and even the packaging process. And while we don't have huge volume, we're able to really dial in the quality of the ammunition, and it shows with our standard deviations and just the precision that our customers can achieve with our ammunition. Our 300 Blackout is ballistically matched between the two loads that we offer. One is a 190 grain Nosler custom competition open tip match lead core bullet. The other is a machined solid copper expander. The weight difference between those two projectiles is only 2 grains. And what that allows the shooter to do is practice with the target ammunition and then be really close with the hunting ammunition.
One of the offerings I think is really cool by Discreet Ballistics is these solid copper 300 Blackouts. And yeah, tell me more about these.
So a lot of the projectiles that are used in 300 Blackout don't perform very well terminally. So we looked at the problem and we saw that the solution was to design a solid copper projectile that was specifically designed to expand at subsonic velocities.
And we can test this out using this gelatin block, right?
Yes, the gelatin block simulates soft tissue trauma, and what we do is we measure the penetration depth and we take a look at the wound channel, and we're able to see how the bullet performs, and we can make adjustments in the design of the bullet based on the data that we collect from the gelatin block.
Very cool. Let's give this a shot.
Let's do it.
This wound channel is amazing, and you had mentioned part of it is kind of synergy depending on the barrel, like some barrels are going to ultimately help it expand and do even more damage, right?
Yes, so this Q Honey Badger upper uses a 1-in-5 twist barrel, and that barrel generates extra RPM, about 30,000 more RPM than a typical 1 in 7 twist barrel at 1,000 feet per second.
So it's like drilling through ultimately.
Correct. So that helps to open up the projectile sooner, and it also allows for more turns within the soft tissue as it's spinning. So there's a good deal more trauma being imparted as a result of the increased RPM of the projectile.
All right, let's cut this thing out.
Let's see it. These gel blocks are 16 inches long, and you can see here that the projectile penetrated 14 inches. Additionally, you can see after the projectile entered the gel, it was only about an inch before full expansion. Perfect.
Rest it right there on top of the block. Ultimately, I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and basically see your operation, get to shoot some of your rounds. The gelatin test pretty much blew my mind, but really cool. And what I like to see is when companies basically double down on what they're good at, and rather than trying to do a bunch of different things, you guys are like, hey, we're gonna do a really good job making this couple niche products. And that's really cool. You guys have done an amazing job with that stuff.
Thank you very much, Ivan. It was a real pleasure having you here, and keep up the great work with Kit Badger.
Thank you, I will. And if you're looking for subsonics, especially 300 Blackout or some 308, definitely check out Discreet Ballistics. Really great products. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.
I'm trying to keep the ground on